Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Agent's Edge. My name is Ryan Polimeni. On this episode, you asked, we answered. I want to go to a Q&A session that we had. And listen, if you have questions, I want you to email me at info@ryanpolimeni.com. You ask, I'll answer. Enjoy the episode. And this kind of goes into the other question. How do you start AUM from scratch? So look, the assets under management, the securities world is similar to how it's structured in the life insurance world. So for an example, you have to go to a broker dealer. You have to have somebody sponsoring you. You can't just have a securities license and do what you want with it. You have to go through a what's called a registered investment advisory firm, an RIA. So if you are doing AUM by yourself, you are called an IAR, independent advisory representative. Okay. But you have to be with an RIA or a broker dealer, and you have to have your license tied to them. So you can do it to where there's a lot of FMOs out there that have both. Maybe they have the insurance world, but they also have the securities world. So you can kind of have it all in one spot. We don't. We have a broker dealer that we work with, and we have a separate FMO that our insurance contracts are tied to. So it depends on what you're trying to do. You have to be really careful on the AUM side. And I'll give you one thing that I've learned is when you're going to get into the AUM world, you need to find a company, a broker dealer that is annuity friendly. They are not all annuity friendly. What I mean by that is like, for example, LPL. LPL is a huge financial firm out there. They are not annuity friendly. You can't do fixed annuities with them, okay, and have outside contracts. It doesn't work like that. So you have to be prepared and know who's annuity friendly. If you want to continue to keep doing the fixed annuities, you have to find an annuity friendly RIA, okay? But you have to go through that. You can't just, like I said, get your license and then do what you want with it. You have to be sponsored by somebody. And when you become an investment representative, you want to find a company that's going to teach you that side of the world too. The struggle that we have had is we've had to figure it out on our own, a lot of it. That's just kind of, if you're not with a big firm like a Morgan Stanley or, Fidelity or somebody like that, that's got a full-blown training program, and you want to just go out there and do this on your own, it's a tough world. It's a tough, what is AUM? Assets under management. AUM stands for assets under management. It's when you're on the security side and you're managing portfolios. But unless you go to a big firm, there's not a lot of training, because a lot of these smaller broker dealers are set up for people who already have a book and they want to become more independent, right? So you work for Fidelity, you work for all these companies for so long, and then you want to go more on the independent side. That's when you would go to something like that. And you're kind of on your own. Unfortunately, we just kind of went into that world because we've been doing this for a long time and figuring out, took a little bit of time, but you get there. We lose clients to financial advisors and want a way to bring all their finances to remove risk. The purpose is just to hold funds with so the question is, we lose clients to financial advisors and want a way to bring it all their finances to remove risk. The purpose is just to hold the funds with AUM. No, the purpose is not just to hold funds. Okay, the purpose, so I'll give you an example. This morning, I was talking to a lead that came in, and the guy's got $1.4 million. And he attended my tax webinar, and we were talking about doing a Roth conversion. And when you have AUM, and maybe you're doing annuities and AUM, like for him, we were looking at a combination of a little bit of everything. So in a situation like that, you don't just do AUM to hold funds in a spot. You do it as part of the growth strategy. So on the AUM side, it could be you're moving funds into, for example, like we use TD Ameritrade. So we're moving funds into TD Ameritrade to build them a custom portfolio depending on their risk. So if they want to be aggressive, we'll build them an aggressive portfolio that we can put them in. And obviously you're going to have a higher risk. you're also going to lose a lot more. We may do something that's moderate where they, got a 50-50 portfolio, or we may go something that's more conservative. But when you're doing AUM, you're doing it as part of their overall long-term strategy, not just to take it and drop it in like a money market account. We don't do that. It's okay, this is the bucket of money that we're going to take risk with. This is the bucket of money we're going to be more conservative with. This is the bucket of money that we're going to do for a guaranteed lifetime income. So when you're building a portfolio for somebody using assets under management, the annuity actually becomes more of the strategy than the focal point. So annuity works inside this overall portfolio because it's going to solve this problem, but the other monies is going to be here and here to solve the other problem. So I typically draw like a pie chart, and I'll say, okay, let's take a look at, let's pretend we had a 3-piece pie chart. This piece, risk; this piece, conservative; this piece, guaranteed growth, okay? Now the question is, how much are we going to put in each one of those buckets? And when you're selling annuities, the nice thing is you can start with the annuity kind of working backwards, going, okay, we've got $1 million, 300,000 is going to go into the annuity, and it's going to solve this problem. We found out in our fact-finding process that we have an income gap of $1,000 a month. So what we need to do is work backwards and go, out of your million, how much money do we need to solve that $1,000 a month problem? Okay, 300,000 in the annuity, boom, income problem solved, 700 grand left. Half of that's going to go into an aggressive portfolio. The other half that's going to go into a more moderate portfolio. We call it the bucket strategy. So no, when you're doing assets under management, you're doing it to be in a holistic strategy. That's why you lose, the battle when you're going up against financial advisors, because they have $1 million with somebody, and you're trying to take 300 grand and leaving 700,000 with that person. That person's going to come back and go, no, we can do the same thing, right? Why don't we just do an annuity, and you have your money already here with us. We're going to manage it. You want to be in a position to be able to take away, all the opportunities for that advisor to come back. And again, in my trainings and things that I've taught a lot on, to ask the questions and start separating yourselves is very easy when you're competing against an advisor. But if you are only having the ability to go after one small snippet of that person's portfolio, it's an uphill battle. And I went up that uphill battle for a long time. That's why we brought AUM. And now, like this morning, we paid $1.5 million on just one AUM case. Would never have been able to work with that client had I not had AUM in my firm, because there was no annuity opportunity there. So you're either missing $1 million clients or you're capturing them. And down the line, maybe that we restructure some of that and do something on the annuity side that's just safer, but that's not the strategy up front. So annuity, AUM, assets under management, has to be part of an overall strategy. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that Q&A session. We have a lot more Q&As coming, but listen, don't forget, you don't want to miss the next Q&A. Hit the subscribe button. If you're watching, you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and hit that now. If you thought this was helpful, make sure you hit the share button. And for the YouTube algorithm, please hit that like button. Thanks always for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.